What is going on, everybody? It's Alex. I'm back here with another video, and today I'm going to be doing round 2 of 3 of this new mock draft series, which is, of course, following my personal board. Now, I'm seeing some of your guys' comments, and mainly it's hovering around this Bills pick right here, saying that JOK should have been the pick. I can understand it, but if I'm going to be honest, to me, it's a safety slash slot corner. Most of y'all are not going to like that. I think it's going to be very similar to Elijah Molden in the fact that obviously Elijah's more the slot corner type, and I think Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is going to be a bit more of that safety that can play that slot. You know, the box safety that can play also slot corner. It's just, again, if you look at his snap count, he literally played in the slot more than he played on the defensive line and linebacker combined. So to me, it's like, yeah, the Bills could definitely use that and just kick some ass. The team I'm actually feeling bad about is not taking him for the Saints. Like, I didn't really care too much about the Bills. I think my pick was perfectly fine for the Bills. You know, they are losing a right tackle, and Tevin Jenkins is a perfect fit for right tackle for them. So for you guys not liking that pick, I mean, I'm honestly surprised he fell out of the first. You see, my ranking is he should be in the first. So I mean, it is what it is, but we'll see. We'll see how this draft falls. So starting off with the first pick of the second round, we got the Jaguars here, right? And the Jaguars, there's a lot of ways we can go. We already got some tackle help in Dylan Raduns. We already got, of course, our quarterback Trevor Lawrence. So we could go a couple routes here. I mean, we could go JOK and put him at safety. I'm going to be honest, that wouldn't be a horrible move. If we just want to go balls to the wall and do that, wouldn't be that bad of a move. You guys might not like it, but it might just be best player available. And it might be a fun way to spice the draft up, right? We could also look at corner. Again, Elijah Molden, I want to wait for a team that probably needs a slot corner. The Jets would be definitely an option for me, but I think that we're going to be going with more of a potential weapon route. I almost pulled the trigger here at 32, but again, I mean, honestly, I'm going to put one more note. The fact that the Titans didn't franchise tag, what's his name? Bugging. Jonnu Smith. I feel way better about my pick now. So just saying. So this pick, I'm like looking, I'm like, ooh, Greg Newsome just ran in that 4-3 range. Everybody's running 4-3s. I'm a little bit worried about the consistency of these 4-3s. I mean, Tyson Campbell better run a 4-2 if Eric Stokes was able to. But I mean, I'm looking at the board and I mean, shoot, I think we can get a guy like Tyson Campbell or Greg Newsome at that next spot. Like they're starting to become a lot better value with these corners down the line that I'm not really sure if we need to take one right here. It's like we lost the one guy who I'm a huge fan of on this team at 16 ASJ. So we could get Greg Newsome here though. It's something where it's like, what do you guys want to do? I mean, you could look at the safety route and go Trevon Moehrig here, or Merrick, that's his actual name. That's another great option. We can go edge and get Joseph Asai because pretty sure you guys are running a 3-4 because I think I saw Josh Allen as an outside linebacker. So with that idea, that wouldn't be no, you guys are running a 4-3. We'll check that out before next round. I'm not drafting an edge player here. That's my bottom line. I'm not drafting an edge player here. I'm going with a pick that you guys might not like. And I want to be more original with it. And I think that they can use him like a Jeremy Chin, not Patrick Chin, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. You know, you guys are used to getting these like more raw prospects, Caleb Von Chase on last year, especially. I think that he can act as a slot corner. He can act as the safety that you need, and he can act as a flexible linebacker. It's a very unique scheme that you're going to have to use with JOK, but this is basically you're saying, hey, screw it. We're getting the best player available, best athlete on the board, hands down. We're going to check what you guys get the next pick. But again, you guys could use a tight end here. I totally get it if you want that. But you guys need safety desperately. And the idea to me of getting a Javon Holland versus a JOK in the second, I mean, you just can't let JOK fall this far. In the real draft, I would probably trade this pick out for a team that needs a linebacker. I'm looking at the Eagles right here. They could use a slot corner as well as a linebacker, as well as a safety. They could be moving up. But man, I don't know. Can I let them fall? Oh, it hurts. It hurts for me to say no, that he can't fall. We got to be more realistic, though. I don't think that they would take JOK here. It's like, I don't think they're ready for it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull the trigger on Greg Newsome. Ran 4-3, good solid man corner, great size, good age. Yeah, you guys probably got scared there for a second. I don't think it would be a bad pick if we went JOK there. But Greg Newsome, to me, I haven't been able to update this since obviously the numbers came out today, but he's definitely moved up on my board a little bit, right in between Eric Stokes and Tyson Campbell. And that means he's my number one man corner left on the board. So big fan of Greg Newsome there. With the Jets, you guys could definitely use a slot corner, by the way. Looking at the weapons here, Dwayne Eskridge, I'm not vibing with Dwayne Eskridge's fit with the Jets. I think they're more of a developmental team. And Dwayne Eskridge, if you look at his age, he's about 24. Excuse me, I have something stuck in the back of my throat. I think that's going to be definitely better in the long run to go with a younger prospect. So getting a guy like Dwayne Eskridge is not my type of vibe. I'm going to be definitely looking. It's a little bit boring, but we're going to go Travis Etienne. You guys might not like the power game of a guy like LaMichael P. Ryan. I'm perfectly fine with it. I think he's a good goal line back. And you guys could, of course, get a guy down the line who is good on the oh, wait. I don't have past 150. I'm like, where the hell? There's plenty of guys down the line that you could use as power backs on the goal line. You can even use Trey Sermon if you want to. You can just power through that goal line. I don't think you need to get a Najee Harris or a Javonte Williams here. And I mean, Javonte wouldn't be a bad idea. The question is, what do you want to do, Etienne or Williams? To me, they're 1A, 1B in this class. Like, Williams has a lot less tread on his tires, but he's also a worse receiving weapon. So that's something that I'm probably going to be saying, like, And again, Javonte Williams has the power. Etienne is more your Kamara back. He's going to be able to work well with LaMichael P. Ryan. I've been doing this forever, and I'm continuing to do it. Travis Etienne to the Jets. Big fan of it, by the way. I'm a huge fan of that fit, especially with how this team is starting to develop. You got Kwity Paye there on the defense, Travis Etienne on the offense, along with Zach Wilson. Big fan of how this draft is starting to turn out. In the Dolphins, my God, that was bad. I saw the Dolphins up here, and the Falcons are on the board, and they're saying, like, hold up, like, where do we go here? We got Javonte, Najee, we got Joseph Asai on the team, which again we don't need because we run a 4-3. Not mistaken, you run a 4-3. Because I don't know why you'd get Marlon Davidson and have Garrett there. But, I mean, can you pass up on that talent? Vic Beasley was a failed project, but you guys were looking for that same type of guy. You know, Joseph Asai could definitely just be like, screw it. We can't let him get past this spot. I think Jalen Phillips would be another good option here because this team can develop and they could potentially take a loss here. You guys might not like this pick. I mean, damn, can I do it? Can I pull the trigger on JOK on this squad? They have 3 really good linebackers, though. I don't think I can do it. Michael Walker, the O guy, as well as Deion Jones. I don't think I can pull that. He could also play safety, though. Shit. Man, he could be similar to Keanu Neal and take that role because Keanu Neal didn't play much except like more of a linebacker role, right? I'm going for it. JOK it's just best player available on the board. I mean, shit. You're getting 2 developmental players here, JOK as well as Justin Fields, but this is a team that can do that. It's just like safety, linebacker hybrid. He might actually legitimately fall after we saw what happened to Isaiah Simmons in Arizona. It's like we haven't figured him out yet. That might scare some teams where they're just like, oh, dude, what the hell? Like, what if we don't use him right? He just like could just be a bust and looks good in college. By the way, he might have been my next pick. Just a heads up. So right there, pretty big fan of JOK filling in that safety role because they're losing both their safeties. That's kind of a problem. And, you know, he could definitely fit one of those roles. And honestly, he'd probably be better than that Oluokun type of guy that you guys have there. Next with the Dolphins, I'm going to be looking more towards the linebacker / running back route. And I'm going to be honest, I like a guy like Chaz Surratt, Jamin Davis, even Pete Werner in the 3rd round, 2nd round, to where, I mean, I think you can get better value later in the draft with that. What you don't have is a true running back tandem. And Najee Harris, you guys, one of you guys, Joshua, I know who you are. You're telling me you should have gotten Najee at 18. Now you get Najee at 36. And I'm not pulling the trigger on him. And here's why. Javonte Williams, I think, is about equal talent to Najee Harris. Maybe he's a little bit more raw, but Najee Harris is a particular back. I don't think people think about this enough. When people see Najee, like, oh, dude, I'm just going to plug that guy in. Najee Harris is a guy who got almost every single carry in a game. He was getting comfortable with consistent reps. To me, it's a big change to go from, hey, I'm going to get the ball every single time, and if I mess up, I'm going to have another carry, versus an RBBC guy where it's like, I need to make the most out of every single carry. I can't just like chunk out yards knowing that I'm going to break one soon. It's like you need to make the most out of every carry. Javonte Williams is also really young. The Dolphins are in win now mode, but they can also be in like win now for a while mode. It's like it's crazy how their roster is built so well. And with Penny Sewell there, you got Rashad Bateman there. I think that again, the offense was the big issue. This is an interesting spot for Joseph Asai though. It's like, what do you do? Like Joseph Asai, you can't let Joseph Asai continue to fall, guys. Like it's ridiculous because I'm just stuck. I am big stuck. And let's look at teams that could take a running back between now and then. I mean, you're looking at who the hell could take a running back? I don't see a single team that could take a running back. We got the Cards right there. The Cards are the only ones that I could really see. Again, no trade, so it's not like we're potentially sacrificing a spot. So we're going to be getting either Javonte or Najee Harris here in the next spot. I think we got to be looking at this linebacker edge route. And I mean, we're losing everybody potentially. Again, free agency is going to really help us out on this. Can we just let go of Joseph Asai? Again, we do find really good edges later on. And I think a Ronnie Perkins, and Joe Tryon, or Rashad Weaver, these guys would all be really good fits down the line. Shoot. Man, I'm feeling the pressure on this one, guys. The center's not vibing with it. So I'm going to be honest. We actually are going to be reverting back to my original pick. We're going Javonte Williams here. Super young prospect, man. Has so much more tread on the tires than Najee Harris, too. It's a different scheme. He's going to fit an RBBC role much better than Najee. Najee, out of respect for him, you guys who continue trying to clamor for Najee to the Dolphins, out of respect for him, let him go to a team where he can actually be a bell cow. He's only going to last probably one contract, but let him have a good time doing it. Don't stick him over here where he can never like build up his momentum. Like this is a guy who was built to be like momentum from the beginning. Najee is where he's going to eat you alive. He needs to be a Derrick Henry type of role. Miami doesn't need that. They have some really good backs. They need to rotate. Javonte Williams is great for that. The Eagles with you guys, I mean, you guys have a lot of needs. We're going to be going Kyle Trask here. Just kidding. Maybe not next round. But you guys need a multitude of things. You guys could use a wide receiver. Dwayne Eskridge is a little too old for me to go directly to the Eagles. Big fan of it. Great separator. But factoring in his age, I think that it would be best to kind of stick away from that. You guys do need a corner. Eric Stokes could just be the guy. You might as well just say, fuck it. I mean, we have a man corner, but we're running his own scheme, right? I don't think you can pass up on Eric Stokes, by the way. Looking at the other guys, your linebacker core is not that great. Nick Bolton's here. Like, the question is, like, where do you go? Because we could get a Keith Taylor later on, Ifeatu Melifonwu later on. But we could also get a Pete Werner, Dylan Moses, Baron Browning. Again, Dylan Moses should probably be brought up a little bit for me. There's a lot of really good talent here, guys. I think that if it's true that there's 4.24/4.26 speed on Eric Stokes, which I'm going to add a plus 0.1 to that just for human error. I'm going to say a 4.34, 4.36. Like, I think we got to go with Eric Stokes here. You got to get that second corner there. You guys do have more of a man guy, but I mean, you brought the DB coach literally from Indianapolis, who was there in Minnesota when they ran zone. So you guys are built for zone now. And I mean, again, we already saw what happened. Again, I think they brought on the DB coach from Indianapolis because Slay's going to be getting older. And he's not going to be as athletic. And if he gets more comfortable in this cover 2 zone scheme, that's going to be great for him because he's going to be able to be more comfortable in it. He's going to be much less inhibited by his lack of athleticism. But speaking of athleticism, Eric Stokes is going to be amazing. I don't like him as much in man just because I'm not just comfortable with that. He has the speed and he has the twitch, but I love his instincts. And I think that's why he fits in a cover 2 scheme, /cover 3 /cover 4 so damn well. So watch him out for being a sneaky pick for even the Packers. You can see even technically here, The Steelers could be just trying to pull one right there. Even a team like the Colts, which would have been my second round choice for him, that could be it, man. Like any other zone teams, I mean, you could technically even say at 14, that's probably a ceiling is 14. Eric Stokes to the Vikings. Just saying. Now, of course, with the Bengals, we got to be going offensive line here. We're looking at the tackles, not vibing with it. We're looking at the guards, I'm vibing with it big time. Wyatt Davis, Trey Smith, both really good talents. We got to go Wyatt Davis, though. This team isn't ready to win now. You can develop a high-end guard like Davis, who's replacing Michael Jordan, a former Ohio State guard. I'm pretty locked on these two picks for the Bengals. Bottom line, pretty locked. And my next draft, they probably won't be able to get their two picks. I'm just pretty excited about testing out that idea. We could have definitely went Joseph Asai there, by the way. That's definitely something I considered, but you do need to protect Joe Burrow, man. That line is god awful. It doesn't matter how horrible your defense is if your offensive line is going to get Joe Burrow hurt again and again. And the Panthers are left on the board, and I mean, like where do we go with you guys? This would be another great spot. I don't think Eric Stokes falls past 39, by the way. You guys could definitely use a solid tackle. Problem is there's not a really solid one left on the board. It's a little bit of an issue, right? Spencer Brown, he's a right tackle. Jackson Carman's going to be a solid left tackle in the third. So let's keep away from that idea. Let's look at the tight ends. Frymuth, not vibing with it, right? Cornerback wise, Elijah Molden's on the board. Don't know who your slot corner is, so I'm not going to be pulling the trigger on that yet. You guys can inform me. I might go Leatherwood just because you could use a guard as well. He has that flexibility. If you don't like him as a tackle, you can kick him into guard. I wouldn't mind that if we're going to be honest. We already got our linebacker, which now is starting to look stupid given the linebacker is left on the board. But, oh man, Leatherwood, I think you got to pull the trigger on Leatherwood. You got to get some protection there. Your left tackle spot is pretty damn vacant. You got Moten for a 1-year contract. Greg Little, to me, does not deserve to start in the NFL. And again, the tackle quality, in my opinion, drops pretty heavily after Leatherwood, who will probably kick into guard. But he has that potential flexibility to where, hey, if you do bring in a free agent tackle, then that's going to be wonderful because you can kick him to guard where you also need a spot where Trey Turner left. It's just, I think the flexibility is going to be huge. And then he also was one of the best linemen in college. He just definitely didn't look that good in one-on-ones, but we'll see him again in games, like I was always probably a late first, like early second on him. And now he's a mid-second. That's okay. So, of course, with the Broncos, I mean, there's Nick Bolton on the board, and I know Joseph Asai's there, and I hate it. I hate it, guys. But you can't pass up on Nick Bolton. Like, it's too good. He has really good coverage. He has pretty damn good coverage skills. I wouldn't say, like, really good. He has pretty mediocre coverage skills. Really good in the run game. Man, I don't even remember what's going on inside my head. He's a good fit for Vic Fangio. You want to know the truth? He's a good fit. I think that he's going to have his potential maximized here. I think any linebacker really is going to get their maximum potential here in Denver. Big fan of that pick. Now with the Lions, this would have been where Leatherwood went. This is probably the floor. I mean, the ceiling for Leatherwood. The floor, as in like the latest he'll go, would be here. But apart from that, I mean, I think we got to go linebacker as well. I mean, we're looking at the corners. They do need a slot corner though. They need a man slot corner above everything. So it's like, do we take Elijah here? I don't think Elijah doesn't feel like a Lion to me. I think Aaron Robinson does, though. This is a good spot for him. It's my favorite fit probably in the entire draft for a slot corner is Aaron Robinson right here. You got Jeff Okudah, Aaron Robinson. Yes, we could have went to Shaun Wade in the third, but we'll see if he even makes it to the third at that point. But I'm a huge fan of that. Again, Shaun Wade, he also has an ego problem where he wants to be a press outside corner. He just isn't. Leaving the Giants here where it's just like, what the fuck? I don't care who else is on the board. I know you guys need a corner, but you don't let Joseph Asai fall past that. That's ridiculous. I don't care if you run a 4-3 or a 3-4. If he's there, you take him. He's absolutely amazing. So, you guys know I love me some Joseph Asai. I'm shocked that he fell that far. With the Niners on the board, though, I mean, we could definitely look at this guard spot. Trey Smith's on the board. You got Deontay Brown on the board. Both these guys are absolute beasts at the position. Can look at edge as well if you want to get a Jalen Phillips on this squad. That's another big one that we could definitely do. There's a big potential chance for that. But I am going to be looking at this interior offensive line, and you guys really need a guard, and you guys want to hammer that run game. You guys have to fix that line somehow. Your left tackle spot's vacant, but you're getting Trey Smith here. It's a big change because I always go Rashawn Slater in round 1. But obviously things have changed. I think that Trey Smith would be he's just a beast. And if his medicals don't work out, it's worth taking a shot. He is the number 1 guard of talent to me in this draft class, especially if you take out Rashawn Slater. I think he's the best guard in the class. But those health concerns really do factor in for me. With the Cowboys, you guys are sitting here and it's like we could go a slot corner there. We could get even another corner. Oh, you guys already know where this pick's going. Trevon Merrick, a big fan of him. I love Trevon so much. You know, he is such a dynamic threat. He's even Peter Schrager's 6th guy overall in the draft. He's such an animal. I could even see him going at 10 if you really want to go at him. Like if they want to trade back and get Trevon Merrick in the first, I would just be so supportive of that. I love him so much. With the Jaguars left on the board, I mean, we could go Richie Grant here, and that'd be a great pickup. But I think the quality of safeties definitely is solid enough to where you don't get that tight end. We're getting Pat Freiermuth, another boring pick because I always do it. He's going by 46. I'm just again, I'm a big fan of that pick. So Pat Freiermuth is going to be a really good spot for him out there in Jacksonville, giving Trevor Lawrence a pretty damn reliable target. And with New England on the board, you got Mac Jones there. And I mean, we could go Najee Harris even here. That would be an interesting pick, right? Yeah, it would be. But I think that we need to go more of the wide receiver route. We could look at Rondale Moore as a separator right there. We could look at Jalen Darden as a sneaky weapon. We could even probably look in the linebacker realm at a Chaz Surratt. You know, there's definitely some dudes on the board who would fit this team really well. Amon-Ra St. Brown, you know, that's somebody who would be a dynamic threat. I think there's just something special about Rondale Moore that the Patriots are going to like. You know, you just see his physical attributes, and I don't think he can fall past here. It just doesn't happen as much as I want it to. It just doesn't happen. He's going to be kicking some ass in the NFL. Big fan of that. So next with the Chargers, I mean, this is another spot where I might take Elijah Molden, man. I love him. But you gotta, you know me, you gotta fix the offensive line first. Landon Dickerson's on the board. We cannot let him slide. You have Darzaw and Dickerson now. Huge fan of this offensive line. Huge fan. So overall, I mean, you just need to prepare this offensive line for the next stage, for the next level. Big fan of that. At this next spot, we've been going pretty similar with these past 4 picks, but that's okay. You know, Landon Dickerson actually usually isn't the pick, but still. The Raiders sitting on the board, and I mean, you got Tyson Campbell here, who could be a really good outside corner for you. You got Jalen Phillips, though. Can you let Jalen Phillips fall past you? Yes, because Christian Barmore is on the board. You just can't let him pass. I didn't suspect Christian Barmore to even be here. Usually he's gone right here at 41, by the way. Thinking about him here at 32, if not 31 as well. But Barmore is snuck down the draft, and that's perfectly fine. Next with the Cardinals, I mean, I would look at Jalen Phillips here, but again, Najee's on the board. We could go Najee. It might be too good a value to pass up at this point because your team is pretty much built for a Super Bowl. You know, that's why JJ came. You could look at linebacker as well. You could look at a corner, like a corner 2, because again, we don't know if Patrick Peterson's going to come back. We could look at a wide receiver here. If you want to go Dwayne Eskridge, that's a great wide receiver pick. However, I am actually going to be rocking with Najee Harris at this pick. Man, can I pull the trigger on Najee? I don't know. It doesn't feel right to take Najee Harris here. He doesn't feel like he's not a zone runner. Like I don't feel like he's a zone runner. It's just it says he is. I just don't know if he is. Let's look at the other picks before we pull the trigger. Again, Dwayne Eskridge would be such a good fit here. He'd be such a good fit. He'd be exactly what you're looking for at Christian Kirk, if we're going to be honest. Amon-Ra St. Brown's another sneaky one at this spot. If you guys want to go edge, Jason Oweh just ran the 4.3s. You know, these are targets that you guys can use still. Ronnie Perkins is another guy who, I mean, we know Cliff. He liked Kyler Murray coming out of Oklahoma. Does he like Ronnie Perkins coming out of Oklahoma? I'd be a big fan of it. Honestly, this could be a really good pick. Joe Tryon as well. Shit. What do we do, guys? Oof. Honestly, if we're gonna be honest, I think that we got to go with a edge rusher here. Again, we got J.J. Watt, but we still have Hassan Reddick coming up. I don't know if he's even on contract, but I don't think that you guys can afford him long term, right? Like, this is a tough one because I honestly think that Michael Carter in the third's a better value than Najee here, which is insane to say. But I love Michael Carter. It's just like, again, do you think Najee's going to fit your scheme? I just don't see him take. He's been pretty much working with immobile quarterbacks forever. It just doesn't seem like it's the perfect spot for him. And out of respect for Najee, I don't think he's going to be taken. Again, there's a perfect time for a team to trade up with the Raiders right here and select Najee Harris. But I'm going to be moving down a little bit on the need sheet. Jalen Phillips is here. Jason Oweh is here. Ronnie Perkins is here. And you know what? Jason Oweh is super raw, but he's a perfect guy to learn under J.J. Watt. And I think that's another reason why they brought him here. Like, they need to win now, but Jason Oweh is just too much of a freak to let past, especially with a team like Miami at the next spot. Miami's sitting there. They're like, okay, well, we still have some nice-ass linebackers on the board. We could probably even wait to the third round to get one of these guys. Let's look at the edge class, and Jalen Phillips is here, and it's a good spot to take him. It's a 4-3 defensive end. He's going to be able to work in very well. Again, we could get a center in Josh Myers, but I don't like the value for it. We're going to go Jalen Phillips here. Keep Miami in Miami. Quincy Roche, another great option there. It's a first-round talent, but the injury concerns are going to be probably pushing him down the board. Again, concussions, literally retired and then came back to Miami. So I think that he's going to be putting up one hell of a fight, but this is a team that could potentially lose an edge rusher, a 4-3 edge rusher. Bring Ogba back and have Jalen Phillips and Ogba be your bookend type of dudes. I think I would love that. I would love that fit perfectly there. 51 with Washington. I mean, my goodness. Talk about a team that could use a guy like Dwayne Eskridge. This is a team that could win now. Legitimately, you have Trey Lance. You need to give him a true separator. You got Scary Terry there. Get Dwayne Eskridge. It's such a good pick. You could go Elijah Moore there. You could go Amon-Ra St. Brown. You could go Jalen Darden. But I'm just such a fan of Dwayne. I had to find the right fit for him. It was going to be this next pick, by the way. That would be the next spot for him. But with the Bears, I mean, like, shoot, where do we go with you guys? We could even drop for Seth Williams here. That's a legitimate sneaky option. But you did franchise tag Allen Robinson, and obviously I don't think you're going to keep him. I think you're going to tag and trade. So looking at the potential options, Elijah Moore, no. The kid from Tulane is going to be able to do that. Jalen Darden, similar situation. Same thing with Amon-Ra. So you're down to De'Ami Brown, Tylan Wallace here, and I think you could potentially wait on that. If we're going to be honest, we could probably wait on that. Let's look at the guys who are available overall. You got Elijah Molden still. Our slot corner, we lost Buster Screen. So honestly, the slot corner is pretty vacant. And of course, free agency class, there's a lot of slot corners out there. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm selecting Elijah Molden here. Sneaky, amazing pick out of Washington. I wanted him to drop to the Browns, I'm going to be honest. I love giving you Browns fans Elijah Molden. But the Bears literally lost. They've lost Callahan to the Broncos, and they lost Buster Screen to free agency. So we'll see what happens with those contracts. But for now, again, Elijah Molden, it's too good a value. You see my board. It's too good. So next we got the Titans, and this is where you're sitting, and we could look at the edges, and it's like, okay, we got Boogie Basham here, who could be our 4-3 D end. We got Ronnie Perkins, who could be our 3-4 outside linebacker. Did I say 4-3? 3-4 outside linebacker, 3-4 D end. These guys are definitely guys I would consider taking here. You got the tight end already. You got the offensive weapon. I don't think we need to go offense twice. I think that if you get a guy like Rashad Weaver, I think that's better value for the interior guy who could definitely use his abilities on the outside, or Patrick Jones, Jordan Smith, these guys who are a bit bigger. So I'm going to be honest. I mean, damn, I'm going to be possibly going Ronnie Perkins here. Definitely somebody who has a great motor. Look how young he is. He's definitely young enough, and he's going to be able to make a big impact day one. Again, it might be kissing Harold Landry goodbye, but we're already seeing cap issues rise thanks to signing players who are amazing, but you just can't sign certain players to long-term contracts. It's tough for me, but I'm going to be going Ronnie Perkins. I think that's a really good pick, and he's such an amazing player that we just can't let him fall. With the Colts on the board, I'm going to be looking two ways. I mean, looking at corner and Keith Taylor's here, really good. As same thing as Ifeatu Melifonwu. Both these guys are really talented zone corners, right? Really talented. To the point where I'm probably going to be taking one of them. Tyson Campbell's a beast too. He's a man corner. He's going to be a true man corner on the outside. To me, I don't think that we can let Keith Taylor pass at this spot. Again, we know these Washington corners. They produce some great corners there at Washington. Look at his size. He's really solid. He's going to be pretty damn good in a cover 2 scheme. I'm a big fan of him, and especially with like Trevor Lawrence coming in, you need guys who have the speed to where they can stay at least in good position with guys, because there's going to be some great ball placement in this division if, of course, Deshaun Watson decides to stay. I mean, I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of Keith Taylor here. I used to go Paulson to Debo. It's just like, again, we could go Amon-Ra St. Brown here and just bring back the USC boys. I'm going to let him fall, though. I'm going to let him fall for the time being. We're going to go Keith Taylor, one of my favorite corners in the draft class. Now, the Steelers are saying there, it's like, well, we could use a tackle, but there is Najee on the board still. Looking at the tackles, I'm just not a fan of it. Could look at the corners as well. We could just take Tyson Campbell and just say, fuck it. Ifeatu Melifonwu would probably be the right pick if we were to go that route. Again, Najee Harris has a lot of tread off his tires. He has fallen. He's always falls for me just because, I mean, I love Najee, by the way. I have him ranked 40. Given the fact that he's just a pure down the hill playmaker. And again, this is a perfect scheme for him. He has an immobile quarterback. He has a team where he's not going to be really doing too much RBBC. Like, he's going to be able to be the bell cow back in a team that could use him now. I'm going to take it. Taking Najee Harris here for the Steelers. People were saying they should do it in the first. I can't see it. He's an amazing back, but again, we just see the value of running backs. You can get a guy like Jermar Jefferson in the third, the fourth, the fifth round, and it's amazing. And I think that'll push these guys down a little bit. When was the last time we had a first round running back, apart from like pick 32? It's like it was Josh Jacobs, right? So, like, these guys definitely fall, and there's a reason for it. It's because there is good value down the board. So Najee Harris, a guy who teams might be scared of how his type of usage is, and that's not usually common in the NFL anymore. You don't have one main back, and Najee, I mean, the Steelers should. So that's going to be the perfect spot for him. Next, we got the Seahawks, and I mean, I would look probably at a guard here. Deontay Brown would be a great fit, by the way. Looking at the interior defensive line to get some extra help, you got Osa Digizua here. I would look at maybe the edge route. You got Quincy Roche on the board, Boogie Basham. You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring in Quincy Roche here. He's a dynamic threat. You guys brought in I'm forgetting the guy's name, Carlos Dunlap. You know, I think Quincy Roche could be a really good option here. I think we got to stick up that pass rush. I don't think they're going to be getting offensive line here, given the value of offensive line. This is the right pick in my eyes. You know, Quincy Roche is an absolute stud. Even if TDN says otherwise, I think that he's just worth the pick so much. With the Rams on the board, there's guys all over the place. I'd be looking at Joe Tryon here. If we're going to be honest, I would look at Joe Tryon. But I know their linebacking core is atrocious. Again, not comfortable taking a tackle at this spot. Their linebacker core is atrocious. You got Chester right here, but I'm going to go Jamin Davis. You know, I'm a huge fan of Jamin Davis from what I've read, from what I've seen. You know, I think that he definitely has the talent to be able to elevate a roster. And to be honest, he was my pick at 64. So kind of stole him from the Buccaneers. It's my dream spots. I don't ever plan this out, but I just have dream spots for these guys. With the Ravens left on the board, I mean, Titan's gone for you guys. Looking at the wide receiver route, again, kind of bereft of stuff that you could use. I could look at a Seth Williams here, though. Wouldn't be a bad pick. Again, looking at the edges, you could go Joe Tryon here and just say, we're going to go with the project. But we are going to be sneaking with a Seth Williams here. He is 6'3", he's not 6'2". You get a bigger target with some good athleticism, some potential for some good-ass catches. You know, you definitely need it. Seth Williams is going to be the guy for the Ravens. They didn't want to make a big move in free agency, and I think this is why. They can get a guy like Seth Williams in the second, guaranteed. That's a big, big plus. Now, the Browns are on the board, and to be honest, I would love to give him a slot corner. And Shaun Wade's on the board. I mean, Tyson Campbell will be a great selection. I don't know why he's falling, but he is. Shaun Wade would be a really good selection as a slot corner. You guys like having Denzel Ward on the outside. You'll have Greedy Williams on the outside. You have a perfect spot in your slot for Shaun Wade, who is supposed to be the number one corner in this class. Remember, guys, we thought he was the best corner in college, besides maybe the kid out of LSU, Derek Stingley Jr. There's a reason for it. He's a good ass player. Let's rock with him. You guys might not like it, but I think it's the right pick. I definitely do. And the Saints are running up to the podium with this. They're like, dude, Tyson Campbell, I don't care who's left on the board. Tyson Campbell's our guy. That's a great pick right there. Huge fan of Tyson Campbell there. And the Bills are sitting there and they're just like, yo, Chaz Surratt's on the board? Jabril Cox? Pete Werner? Like, people complaining about JOK. You get Chaz Surratt here? Absolutely. He's going to be a great blitzing linebacker, man. He's amazing. He's great in coverage. He's quick. This is a team that's ready to win now, and you're getting a value like Chaz Surratt in the second. That's unreal to me. And the Packers, I mean, shoot. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown here, right? Like, can you pass up on that? You lost out on pretty much the corner sweepstakes. The wide receiver sweepstakes have been kind of lost, except for, of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Wouldn't take Elijah Moore here or Jalen Darden. I think Amon-Ra is going to be a perfect target for a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Again, you're bringing his to the team with his brother, Equanimous. Probably going to be kicking Equanimous off the roster, unfortunately, but he's a perfect fit. Huge fan of Amon-Ra St. Brown, especially on this team. Leaving the Chiefs to end, forgot they lost the Super Bowl. Chiefs to come up on ending the second round, and you guys could definitely use a center. And there's a big drop off, I think, after this with centers. And I think Josh Myers is here, and you got to take it. You got to take it, right? Linebacker is another way we could go, but I think you got to invest a little bit in the offensive line. Josh Myers is a developmental center that could take a year if you want him to develop. Definitely somebody who will eventually step up and start leading this team. Really good in the run game as well. J.K. Dobbins watches tape, holes wide open thanks to Josh Myers and Wyatt Davis, not to mention something Thumper or something like that. The left tackle for Ohio State. Thayer Mumford. There we go. Thumford, right? So Josh Myers is going to be a great addition to this team. And lastly, we got the Buccaneers, who have already franchise tagged their wide receiver, do not need one. We might look on the interior of the defensive line, and regardless of who comes back, we might just want to get a guy like Osa Odighizuwa for the upside. They do like big interior defensive linemen, though. So for that, I'm going to pull a little bit away. I'm going to be selecting Michael Carter at the end of the second round. And here's why. Again, we're trying to look for a pass catching back. And we couldn't find it. We got there with ETN, but the value was too good. You're looking at Leonard Fournette as a continual pass down option. That's not going to work like continuously unless you're in the playoffs, of course. But Michael Carter's going to be great in that. He's going to be great with the ball in his hands. He's going to be great as a relief effort to Rojo. I think it's the perfect fit. And I'm sorry to a team like the Cardinals that I would love to give a guy like Michael Carter to, but his talent's just a little too good. I have, I believe, a late second, early third on Michael Carter. He's amazing. He's amazing, guys. If you use him with Rojo in that tandem, I think this team's just going to light it up again. They're going to win another Super Bowl. So let me know what you guys think. Check out tomorrow for round 3. I'll see you on the far side. Peace.